Hi, this is Logan Elmer, and this is my Rise Progress presentation. So what did I learn here? The biggest thing that I learned is how big of a media, like how much of an influence media has on our day-to-day lives. We've learned throughout our lives, like we had to do papers on like Wall-E and how a dystopian futures can be like all advertising and stuff like that. But it gives me a more relatable and more tangible understanding of how I'm being influenced. um, I learned that it's important to be aware of these influences because they may impact how I work professionally. Like, it may influence my writing in a negative way, or it may not, but it's important to be aware of it. And I also learned how to use these skills for my benefit in my career as a games journalist going forward. How do I use this information? So, as a games journalist, I have to write articles that appeal to the masses, and I think a big appeal of video games is the personal stories that they tell. I think I talked about one of my favorite games, God of War, that came out this year a couple times throughout this class, and the personal impact that game had on me is the kind of writing I want to do. I want to be able to reach people, and I think that's why I gravitated so hard towards the personal aspect and of the strategies, and I think that doing that with my writing will help me grow not just as a professional but as a person, and help me get to kind of connect with people, which is something I love doing. And lastly, what would I have liked to learn? I think I'm kind of a history buff, so I thought it might be cool to learn like when these strategies were kind of founded, and like, or maybe not necessarily how they were founded because we know they're recent, but like maybe how they were used in the past, but maybe not necessarily given a name. Um, and I thought it would have been cool to see how some recognizable business magnates or figures use them, like Donald Trump, who's a big businessman, or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, stuff like that. Because I know Steve Jobs he was a great speaker, and that's kind of what made him sell the company. So I think that might be interesting to learn how he used some of those strategies if he was consciously using them. So this has been my presentation. Thank you for listening.